Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? As per usual on Thursdays, I'm your host, Richie T, also known as Richard T, coming at you live with some Magic the Gathering. So, what I'm streaming for you today is a deck I played for a while, had some really good success with, and is probably my favorite deck in Modern. I think this deck has taken the spot of Tron, and that deck is Mono Red Prowess, or as Jim Davis called it when I first started playing the deck, Blister. So, I've streamed this deck before, had a 5-0 with it. We've had it streamed a couple other times on our channel, but just in case you haven't seen it before, what if we go into the deck a little bit? So, first and foremost, I always like to start a deck off with its mana base. This deck is really clean when it comes to its mana base. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. We have 2 Fiery Islets and 2 Sun-Baked Canyons for the mana base. And then we just have a bunch of mountains after that. So, that's the mana base. Sorry if there's anything weird going on there. I'm trying to get Twitch opened up really quick. That way I can see what you guys are saying. Hey Siggy, how's it going, man? Afternoon to you as well. So then we have some cantrips in this deck, which are 4 Crash Through to give our creatures trample, help push through some extra damage. 4 Manamorphoses to get some extra mana, or not extra mana, but to really just get extra prowess triggers turned through our deck, and every now and again you filter into green mana for mutagenic growth. And then 4 Light Up the Stages to net us some extra cards, and it's a pretty powerful engine of this deck, because the more it gives us more spells to cast, which triggers prowess, which punches through for more damage. Tired, but I'm here. Trophies 3x yesterday. Nice. What'd you get 3 trophies with? So the next part of the deck is the burn spells, which we have the traditional 4 Lava Spike, 4 Lightning Bolts. No red decks will really go anywhere without these 8. But then this deck also plays Lava Dart because it's technically 2 spells for 1. While it's only a shock, the fact that you get extra prowess triggers off it is really worth it. I'm on 2 Gut Shots for a Phyrexian spell, which can be free. There's a lot of cool lines you can do where you Gut Shot your opponent, then light up the stage as your turn 1 play if you don't have a creature. And then Pioneer, Boros, Prowess, Mono Black, and Storm. What's the Storm deck in Pioneer? I haven't heard of that one. Is it the Lotus Field, basically the Twiddle Storm deck, except it uses Chronic Flooding to mill itself out? Is that the deck you're talking about? And then 3 Mutagenic Growth, which while this card technically isn't a burn spell, it's a pump spell, it often applies as a 0 mana Lightning Bolt when it comes to our our prowess creatures, which is what we're going to get to now, our creatures in the deck. Yeah, the Underworld Breach. Is it the Chronic Flooding deck? So, the deck Siggy and I are talking about is there's a Pioneer deck right now that uses... Some use Lotus Field, some don't. You either use Lotus Field or Baral/Goblin Electromancer. And Chronic Flooding on a land, which is an enchantment that says tap your land to mill 3 cards. So with those, Underworld Breach and... oh gosh, I can't remember the card, but it's a blue and a colorless. Untap up to 2 permanents. So you untap either your Lotus Field land or your land in your Chronic Flooded land. And you basically mill your entire deck out, and then you, with the last one, you cast Thassa's Oracle to win the game. It's actually a really sick deck. So for our creatures, we have 4 Monastery Swiftspear, 4 Soulscar Mage as our 1/2s with Prowess, Swift Sphere has the benefit of haste. Soul Scar has the benefit of the -1/-1 counter shenanigans. We have 2 Blister Coil Weirds as just extra copies of Swift Sphere and Soul Scar Mage. It's a 1-mana creature with pseudo prowess. But the untapping can get kind of tricky sometimes. It's vulnerable to Tonic slash Silence. Yeah. It's also pretty weak if someone like Ashiok minuses you and hits your Thassa's Oracle, you just can't win the game, which I find really funny. But I do think the deck is... I think the deck's interesting. And then we have a little bit of late game in 2 copies of Bedlam Reveler, which is just a way to refuel your hand. It's a big prowess body. It can come down early. And then 1 Seasoned Pyromancer as basically the 3rd copy of Bedlam Reveler without being awkward when you draw it in multiples. So for the sideboard, we have 2 Abrades and 2 Kozilek's Returns as removal. 3 Surgical Extraction for Graveyard Hate, 3 Dragon's Claws for against the red deck hate, and then 2 Blood Moons to really punish the Amulet and Tron decks, and Valakut decks for that matter. And then a couple extra threats and 2 Shrine of the Burning Rage and 1 Hazoret the Fervent. Hazoret has always been a super impressive card to me in the sideboard of this deck, and one that I just love. So we're going to hop on into our league with Prowess here, but before we do that, as per usual, I want to hop over to momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com to let you guys know to buy your singles from here. If you're looking for us on Twitch, you can find us here. If you're watching on YouTube, down in the description box below will be all the links that I'm going to be talking about. Try to tune in live to our Twitch sometimes, interact with us, and have a good time, kind of like what Siggy's doing. On top of that, if you're looking for other forms of social media to find us on, you can follow us on Facebook at Mom's Basement Games, give us a follow on Twitch at Mom's Basement MTG, or hop back over to our YouTube page where you can find the best Standard, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Commander, Pauper, Pioneer, Draft, and Vintage Cube. On top of that, I would super appreciate it if you gave me a follow on Twitter. Woo! Let's go back to my Twitter. Don't know why it was on my homepage. That was weird. So you can find me on Twitter at RichardTMTG, where I talk about Magic, memes, League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra, music, anything else you want to talk about. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Leave my Amulet Titan deck alone. Well, tell your Amulet Titan deck to leave me alone. On top of that, if you're looking for another form of social media to find us on, you can find us on Mom's Basement Games on Instagram, or you can find me on Instagram at RichieT2196. And with that, let's hop on into our league. Oh wow, we found a match super quick. So, Siggy, I've always wondered, are you a Panda local? I see you watching our stream regularly, which is awesome, but I have no idea who you are. Alright, we lost the die roll, hit our opponent with the GLHF. And yeah, we're gonna keep our hand. This hand is very good. A lot of cheap spells. We have a cheap creature, and we're against the old Tron skis. Might actually be Eldrazi Tron, because they didn't play anything on turn 1. Which, if so, our hand is kinda weak against the Chalice of the Void. Oh, nope, it's traditional Tron. Nope, but I've been to Panda a bit. Other Titan players. You Titan players, you just seem to group together all the time. They grabbed the other Urza's land off their ancient stirrings like a professional. Alright, well, let's see what we can't do to our opponent here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think we got our plan in mind. She just streamed my new list today, but he decided Prowess was better. I do think the new Titan list is worth streaming. I think it would get a decent amount of views. I think I just gut shot my opponent here. I want to get the damage in case they play a Karn next turn. Just Tron things. Uh-oh. That's the one I didn't want you to play, opponent. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What are my lines? I think our plan is to block the Worm Coil and then bolt our Soul Scare Mage. And bolt our opponent on their turn. This is rough. If the Tron I think Tron is a good matchup, unless they specifically play a Worm Coil engine on 3. Valley cut, but it on turn. I really like the I think the Dryad's like super powerful. You in fact have a relic. You have popped said relic. Which paper deck is 130? I think the Underworld Breach is like super you, Steve. I wonder what this is. I love the card Monastery Mentor. Walking Barista. I think we're pretty cold here, unfortunately. Does that do it? 1. That puts him to 1, sadly. Yeah, we're kind of just dead. Turn 3 Worm Coil is like the one thing out of Tron we really can't deal with. Mentor was like one of your favorite decks for the longest time, wasn't it? Or not decks. One of your favorite cards, wasn't it, Steve? Well, this from 2 revisions ago. Gut Shot's bad against Tron. Don't really want to grind against Tron. I like a Braid on the play against Tron. I don't like it on the draw. Kaz returns don't seem that great. Probably just take out like 2 mutagenic growths here. Just try to like race our opponent, have a little bit of interaction for them. Mentor and Legacy is like actually scary though. Mentor and Pioneer, I feel like it's probably good. You just have to play it a bit slower, kind of like the there was that Esper Mentor deck for a while in Modern, but that one's not quite combo-y enough for you, Steve. I'm gonna mulligan here. This hand's not great, but I don't really think we can go to 5. Gonna just go ahead and spike our opponent here. We have the Abrade for if they play an artifact on 1. Leading on Forest is good for us. That means we can dart lava or dart light up the stage. Ooh, or we can do that. We get to Swift Spear light up the stage. Okay. Not the best hits there, but still cards. Well, that's rude. Alright, so we're going to Lava Dart our opponent. Then we'll Spectacle this light up the stage. Player land and crash through. And then say go. We did not have the best hand against Tron. We found that Swift Spear, but unfortunately they had the Warping Whale. That sounds gross. 2 feathers in pre-release. Opponent's trying to turn through their deck, try to find the last Tron piece. Well, we'll get to Abrade this map. So we're gonna play our land for turn. Abrade the map. Bolt them and pass. We're not in the best spot. We kind of just never found what we needed here. Oh, and they had Tron. Yeah. We're pretty dead. Then play a Chromatic Star, filter. I think, like, Mono Green Tron is actually in a really good spot in the format right now. Maybe I'll stream like the list I'd currently play for Tron. Spectacle. That's not bad. That's one of the hits that can keep us in this game, that's for sure. Sometimes you just got a Bedlam Reveler. Alright, what you got, opponent? Nothing? Oh, this is gonna be an O-Stone. It's gonna be like O-Stone or All Is Dust, probably. Ancient Stirrings. That's not good. The Vermcoil engine. Yikes. We don't need this many land stack. So how do we win? That is the question. I think we need our opponent to attack with this worm coil, and then we just, like, draw a bunch of spells. Well. Hope you have waters on, Richie. What are waters, out of curiosity? Waiters. I might just be the big dumb, but I'm confused. Hey, what up, Moa Panda? I think we're, as the kids would call, big dead. So we're just gonna go on to match 2. Kind of rough. I think, for fishing, chest high. Oh, ha. I get it now. Look, it took me a minute. I think Tron's a pretty good matchup typically for this deck. Sometimes they just play the turn 3 worm coil. And then like they had the interaction for us that second game. We kind of just like spun our wheels, which isn't what we really want to be doing in that matchup. It's possible we were maybe supposed to go to 5, but this deck also needs its cards. So, you win some, you lose some. What's everyone's Friday plans that are in the chat right now? I'm gonna be probably hitting up F&M at Pandemonium Games and Hobbies like usual. Playing some Mudarn. We would in fact like to be on La Play. This hand's great. It's actually bad even if we had a land. I'd mulligan this because we don't have a 1-drop. This hand, however, is much better. So we will keep. And grocery shopping, F&M standard, then Pioneer. You know, Pioneer sounds fun. Although, like, from what I've heard, standard isn't that bad right now. I've heard standard's in a lot better place than it has been for a while. I used to love standard. Like, standard was actually like my favorite format for a while. I was a big fan. No, it's not. I was a big fan of standard, like, actually during like the Temur Energy, Mono Red, format like that. I think we might be against Blue Moon. And they pass. Still no second land drop, unfortunately. Hopefully we can fade the lightning bolt. We in fact faded the lightning bolt, so we'll spectacle light up the stage. And our opponent will spell pierce us. That feels bad. Did not expect the main deck Spell Pierce. Don't really think we had many ways to play around it there. Into Tarmogoyf. So this is like Temur pile. Alright, well. We're gonna go to combat. Attack. If our opponent blocks, we'll just bolt the Goyf. They didn't, so we're just gonna light up the stage and try to hit our second land. Wow. We are really bad at hitting second land drops, apparently. We're 11 cards in. We do only play 18 lands, but we've also seen a lot of cards. Icefang Quaddle, try to find our opponent's third land, I assume. That's pretty unfortunate that they found that. We really need to draw a land here, that way we can bolt the Icefang Quaddle and still light up the stage. You know, we've been in better spots. Who needs to play lands in their deck? I've just like... I've been really unlucky with this deck lately. Like we're 13 cards deep and I've seen one land. Feels bad, man, clap. And we've drawn both our 2 copies of Bedlam Reveler in the same hand. I mean, 18 lands is normally fine in Modern. You just, you gotta draw them, unfortunately. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes, you're on the good side of variance in Modern, and other times, the variance is not on your side. Right on time land. Now we're just like super behind, unfortunately. We only have 3 spells in our graveyard too. I mean, this deck only really needs like 1-ish land to function. It just, it's just kind of rough that our opponent's, like, playing a super interactive deck. The old Tarmogoyf. Do we care about this run in 6? I think the answer is no. I think you want all of your removal to double as burn spells. Like, I think if you want an effect like that in Modern, you could just play Flame Slash. Alright, well, we're gonna bolt the Goyf. So our Swift Spear should kill the Goyf here. Unless our opponent fetches, but then our Swift Spear still lives. Or no, even if he fetches. I thought so. Thought my math checked out right the first time. 2, 3, 4. Still can't cast these Bedlam Revelers. Our opponent is at 10 because they've fetched a bunch. They've also just built up a hell of a big hand, though. Running 6 to... Oh, just to ping us for lethal. Sure. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of like a rough game where we just, like, missed on a bunch of land drops and we didn't really get to do much because of it. But it was a mulligan to 6, so... Sometimes it be like that. How do we want to sideboard? I don't think we really want surgicals. Gut shots seem kind of medium against their... Well, they are an Ice Fang Quaddle deck. So maybe gut shot's fine. I normally take out lava spikes against the mid-rangey decks because we want to be more of a attrition deck than we want to be a burn deck. Mutagenic seems great against the Bolt deck. Don't really want these Dragon's Claws. Abrades don't really seem like where we want to be. We really can't Blood Moon out an Astrolabe deck. Then I think Kozilek's Return isn't good. So we can always bring back in a Lava Spike. And I think I like everything else. I think I like the gut shots more than I like spikes. Yeah. What do you think, chat? While I'm waiting to hear back from you guys, I'm going to make sure to let you guys know that if you're new to the channel, feel free to give us a follow. We super appreciate that. If you want to support our content, you can always subscribe to us or donate to our Patreon that we have. Any help you can give to us is always highly appreciated. It's what keeps people like me, Aaron, and all of our other content creators here going. I stream every Thursday. We are on 7 days a week with various other really talented Magic players. We make sure to hit like every type of Magic you might be interested in. And if you're interested in, any format, we stream Standard, Modern, Legacy, and Draft on a regular basis. But we also have, we make sure to play a variety of decks, variety of play styles to appeal to everyone else. Not lately, Richie. Yeah, this hand's fine. It's another risky one-lander, but this one can actually function on one land pretty well. And we can get around our opponent's first removal spell with this Mutagenic Growth. That's kind of the thing with this deck. Like, you keep one-landers and, like, sometimes they burn you, but it's just kind of like what this deck does. Brenda? Is that who you're talking about? She's the one that does limited on Mondays. Monday. Play Taylor. And Mush for 2. Pass it on back to our opponent. Opponent plays an island and then passes back to us. Interesting. We don't draw our land, unfortunately. But we'll go to combat and attack for a few. Yeah, we've been really trying to get the stream back up to normal. It's been, weird for everyone with holidays and everything from, really like Thanksgiving forward, but we'll get back to a regular schedule. Ice Fang Quaddle. ahead and just dart this now. Don't feel like getting our dart remanded. Third land go from our opponent. Interesting. Could potentially be another Ice Fang Quaddle. Tony is still on Wednesday nights, and Josh is trying to get back to streaming, but have changed for the worse. Yeah, Steve takes care of all of our behind the scenes for us, so he's definitely up to date on the what haves for everyone. Steve does good work. He's actually the one that like designed our overlays for us. Kill the Quaddle. Take 4. We're getting close to having lethal on our opponent. Our opponent just hasn't really done much. Opponent gets a Steam Vents tapped. I've heard a lot of good things about Guild Ball. I've always wanted to try it. I tried 40k and it was okay. Just 40k is kind of expensive. I have way too many expensive hobbies, is my biggest problem. Scred for potentially 3. I'll go ahead and mutagenic growth. That'll get it out of any range for this scred. And back to us. We draw another mutagenic. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We might just have lethal on our opponent here. Oh, that's not bad at all. That's what I mean. Like, this deck can function on one land. It was just last hand was kind of clunky, unfortunately. Our opponent's going to attempt an Ice Fang Quaddle, but we'll flash back a Lava Dart on it. And I think we're going to have lethal on our opponent here. And then we'll bolt you. And then cast mutagenic growth. Alright. And we're going to game 3. Do we want to change anything for game 3 against Temur Snow? I don't think so. I think I'm pretty happy with all the cards in our deck for this matchup. Go ahead and click submit. Well, this hand would not be stuck on one land, but I also just don't see a world where we win with this hand. So we'll go ahead and take a mulligan. It's another one-lander, but we do have a lot of cantrips for it, so I think we're gonna go ahead and keep. Do I bottom the Bedlam Reveler or the Seasoned Pyro? Kind of thinking the Seasoned Pyro. They're gonna do roughly the same thing, except Bedlam Reveler's just like a bigger body. Opponent passes. Alright, we drew another land this time. Go ahead and play Swifty. Try to get in some damage. pass it on over. They did have the lightning bolt. Interesting. They just didn't feel like getting blown out by the mutagenic growth, I suppose. Then a 3/4 Tarmogoyf. Alright, Lava Dart's not bad, so we get to dart our opponent. And then we can Spectacle light up the stage. Opponent plays land, hits us for 4. Not much we can do about that. Then we'll blister coil. And then I want to get use out of this bolt, so we'll bolt our opponent. It's possible we were just supposed to board out the blister coils instead of the lava spikes because of them dying to Ren and 6. Huntmaster. Alrighty. I'm pretty sure they either drew the 4th land or drew the Huntmaster this turn. Because otherwise I feel like the Snapcaster Lightning Bolt would have just gone upstairs. Maybe I'm wrong though. We are in a rough spot, that's for sure. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no matter what. I think we're just dead. I guess if we lava dart, we can dart to live. No, we can't dart because we don't have 2 mountains. Yeah, we're just dead. I've beaten the Temur decks before with this, back when they had Oko. And I think it's like a slightly favored matchup for us, but they any deck that plays Tarmogoyf, if they play Tarmogoyf on 2, the matchup gets a lot harder than when they like do literally anything else the rest of the game, as opposed to a Tarmogoyf on 2. So we're 0-2, unfortunately. Hit our opponent with the GLHF like always, and I will be on the play. This hand's kinda land heavy. Ugh. Our hands just have not been great lately. I'm gonna try this. I can see mulliganing this hand because we are a 4-land hand, but we do have a creature, another card draw, and a burn spell. These hands are always super borderline, any 4-lander. Ugh. Inquisition. The one thing we didn't want to draw was another land. Alright, we'll cycle our crash throughs. Interesting that our opponent took our, that feels bad. Yeah, this was... Oh, it's the rack. Well... I guess we have a lot of lands. It's gonna be hard for them to Shrieking Affliction us out. Waiting on our opponent right now. Curious as to what they're paused for here. Stupid Twitch. Keeps wanting to open up on my main monitor, which is weird. Alright, we're into combat. We will attack our opponent. We will play our land and pass. Croxa. Well, we'll take 3 because all we have to discard our lands. That's unreal. So last time we were stuck on 1 lands, and now we've drawn 7 of our 18 lands in 12 cards. Opponent's thinking about what to do on their turn. The old K command. Well, let's see what we draw off the Manamorphose. I don't even know what to say. We haven't even drawn any of our 4 canopy lands. We've literally drawn mountains. I don't know, man. Like, I guess we were technically not supposed to play a land because now we're gonna get Shrieking Affliction, but I don't think it matters. Like, this is ridiculous. We have literally drawn half the lands in our deck now. We have drawn 9 out of 18 lands in 16 cards. You know, that's Magic the Gathering as Richard Garfield intended. I don't think there's anything we can draw to get us out of this game. Wow. Sometimes you draw 10 out of 18 lands in your deck. I don't know what to say there. Like, alright. Gut shot seems bad here. I don't Normally, like, mutagenic growth is a pretty easy takeout, but I don't actually know if they're playing lightning bolt. Dragon's claws don't seem like where we want to be. I'm not actually sure that they're playing the rack itself. I really want these surgicals for Croxa, but I think that's probably just too cute. A braid doesn't seem very good. Suppose we can just trim like a lava spike. We really don't want to empty our hand that fast. And then yeah, we just have like a lot of our good threats. Leaving in mutagenic growth just because I'm not sure if they're on lightning bolt or not. Oh, what up? I will like to be on the play. It's another super weird hand, but I think we keep it. I suppose, like, that last hand is also, like, kind of a reason you mulligan, like, 4-land hands with this deck, but, like, drawing 6 lands after keeping a 4-lander is also just super rough. You got it, dude. Probably takes our lava spike here if I had to take a guess. No, just takes a soul scar. Alright, well, we're gonna play a soul scar. We're gonna hold our bolts for next turn. Try to get the most value out of them. So if I spiked the last turn, what would have happened is he would have just taken the bolt anyways. So it's basically like the same thing as long as he doesn't have a second discard spell. Which, I mean, is rough. He probably does. It's Raven's Crime, that's fine. We can discard this land. Alright, Manamorphose. Gonna skip this. Add double red. Run off another Manamorphose. Which is why this card's in the deck. It's basically just like free damage. And we're empty-handed, but we're also hitting our opponent for a lot. Alright, you're at 5, opponent. Go ahead. Debating on if they shock to 3 against the Lightning Bolt deck. I guess we've seen K-Command, so that's another reason to have mutagenic growth in the deck. They choose to shock and then Bantu's Last Reckoning. Well, like a professional, we drew the burn spell. Do we want to change anything for game 3? I don't think so. I think I like how I sideboarded. How do you guys feel, chat? This is definitely an interesting take on the rack our opponent's playing. Croxa seems interesting in the deck. I don't know. I think Croxa is a fine card, but I just don't think it does enough. Like, I think 3 mana's Raven's Crime that might lightning bolt your opponent is just kind of like meh. But getting access to like Kozilek's Return, Kolaghan's Command might be pretty big. This is a 7 without creatures, but I really hate mulliganing against 8 rack. So they're gonna make us discard or light up the stage. And then we're gonna crash through. I think we have to mulligan this hand. Yeah, this hand's much better. We'll keep this, put a spike on bottom. Would you have kept the 7, J Milia? Or were you saying the 6 seems fine? I think my biggest problem with the 7 was it was weak to... You can have the lava spike. I think I want all of my card draw. The 7 was fine, but if, like... So, our opponent casts that Inquisition on our 7 and takes our light up the stage. We just kind of have to crash through into something. That was kind of my biggest problem with it. That'll be a good one. Oh, so they do... Oh, our opponent kept a 1-lander, I just noticed. I'm going to hold on to this Lava Dart because if our opponent flashbacks Raven's Crime, I just want to discard the Lava Dart. Sure. We're going to dart here, that way we can attack with Hazoret. Not, Our opponent really doesn't want to lose to red decks, apparently. But, Hazoret will do work through a Dragon's Claw. Hiya. We're probably supposed to play the Sunbaked Canyon instead of the mountain. I think our life total is less Alright. Aren't you just dead? Alright, well. We won through double Dragon's Claws out of Rakdos 8-Rack. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That I should have played the... I should have technically played the Sunbaked over the mountain. The life total isn't nearly as important as having that extra card draw later would have been. You're running Prowess, or are you running... I assume Prowess and not 8-Rack. Definitely mulliganing this hand. I mean, this hand isn't great, but I don't like going to 5. We have the turn 1 light up the stage. It's just like another hand we hope to never draw lands again. I think Prowess is really good. I really like the Phyrexian spells, which I know aren't like super common anymore in the lists, but I think that they do a lot of work. I have been somewhat close to going down to 2 mutagenic growths to play 1 copy of Burst Lightning, because I just haven't been able to beat humans at my LGS recently, which like feels bad because I think humans should be a good matchup. Kind of an awkward mutagenic growth hit here, though. Looks like our opponent's just like playing Genix if there are a lot of Lightning Bolt decks, but right now Titan Psalm on Kiln Fiend. I actually think like mutagenic growth and Kiln Fiend are very good if you want to like try to race. We did not want to draw another land, I said. I think we just pass. We want to hold this spike in case we draw another light up the stage. I have thought about Kiln Fiend. During Urza, I end up just playing the Urza deck during Oko. But if I were to play Prowess during that time, I would have registered with 2 Kiln Fiends in my deck. Wow. I have been horrible about drawing lands. How many spells are in our graveyard? 2? 3. This Reveler costs 6. I think it's more likely to just try to find some spells. Alright. That's a start to something. So one thing with Prowess, the deck is like a high-risk, high-reward deck. So like, you keep some hands just hoping that you get the payoff, and if you do, you get rewarded. If you don't, well, it kind of stinks. That's like one thing I've personally felt with the deck, and kind of one of the biggest lessons I like to tell people is play the deck high risk, high reward. So we have 4, which makes our Reveler cost 4, so we can Reveler next turn. So I think we're like 100% darting here. Definitely darting the Snapcaster Mage now. Not a chance we're not. Get the blocker out of the way. Our opponent takes 3 down to 13. And we get to Reveler next turn. Yeah, I think we're against Blue Moon. But I did think we were against Blue Moon last time as well. Mystic Sanctuary to put Opt on top. They choose not to, okay. Oh. Alrighty. I guess that happened. Sure. They're on Blue-Red Breach. 2 Surgicals, 2 Tormods, 2 Abrades, 2 Dismember, 3 Dragon's Claw, 1 Blood Moon, 2 Magus of the Moon, 1 K return. Couple things. Why Dismember now? I personally have been an off Dismember because I don't think Urza is going to be super popular. And then, what are the Magus of the Moons for that Blood Moons don't just cover? Because, like, the downside of Magus is that it dies to removal. I'm personally on just Surgical because I like the fact that it... Yeah. You are the Prowess deck now, opponent. I like that it, I can see Jund. Our opponent said lit in chat. Yeah, you got it, dude. Like, congrats, you Emrakkurled me and won the game. Weird. I think Flame Slash does a lot of what you want Dismember to do now. It's not an instant, but you also don't have to pay 4 life for it. So I guess it depends on what you find worth more. I can see, like, the debate between Magus and Blood Moon. I don't know which way I would lean personally. Because I think against, I also like bringing in Blood Moon against, like, Jund or the other, like, like Jeskai Control-esque decks because they don't play a lot of basics. And I think Magus dies pretty easily to those matchups. But I can definitely see, like, expecting enchantment hate. What's bad here? These Dragon's Claws don't seem very good. These Abrades don't seem very good. Blood Moon and K-Return don't seem very good. Can we try to grind this deck out, or do we just need to kill him? What do you think, chat? I like Gut Shot against Snapcaster Mage decks because it's just a way to get the cheap blocker out of the way. So I think our options are like trim either 3 Lava Spikes or take out like Hazoret Shrine against them and just try to kill them. I have a really weird feeling that they're like a Spell Snare deck. So I think I'm just gonna like do the Coward split. I'll leave in the Hazoret because it's a really hard threat for them to deal with. Flash required or flames. Oh, Soul Scare Mage, got it. Yeah, yeah, like I said, it depends on really how much you worry about the 4 life that you're losing. No way we're keeping this hand. Dismember might just be like the way to go. I think we're gonna risk it with this hand. And we'll bottom the Lava Spike. Play Blister Coil and pass. Yeah, like this is the slot that I've seen like a lot of people play like Kiln Fiend in, for example. But I just enjoy that my threat can come down for 1 mana. Turn into double red. Not exactly the time we want Bedlam Reveler. But I think we do want to play towards it. I probably won't be on later, but if you, we have a YouTube channel if you check it out. And, if you check us out, if you go to momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com, you can find all the links to, like, our YouTube channel, our Facebook, our Twitter, and, you'll be able to find all of our content from the past, including Prowess Leagues I played, before, and my deck list was pretty similar to this. 4, so we're not close to Bedlam Reveler yet, so I'll just hold this Gut Shot. Glad we held the Gut Shot. I think I want the mana more than I want the 2 life. Attempt this light up the stage. This also plays around Remand really nicely. Yeah. So now we get to cast it again. Alright. We get to Bedlam Reveler, not next turn, but the turn after. Opponent puts the land into play tapped. We'll try to crash through. Then we'll just play the Soul Scare Mage. I know we're dead to Omen of the Sea. Interesting. What you got, opponent? Archmage's Charm to take our dude again. Very rude. We'll play a Soul Scar and then pass. Hopefully not just get breached and die. Alright, so our opponent's gonna bolt. And we're gonna lava, which this feels kind of bad. But I think we want to keep our creature alive more. So we're gonna go ahead and Lava Dart here. We drew a land, we're gonna go to combat. We get to bolt our opponent here, keep our Soul Scar Mage alive. And pass it on over. Four mana. Oh. I guess. Didn't see that coming. I assumed they were... Oh, and it doesn't show me their deck like it's supposed to. That's cool. Unless it was just like... Oh, it was literally the top card of their deck. We have this dart to make it a 7/7. We just have to, like, eventually kill it. Just didn't even have... Sure, man. Like, I don't know. I really thought, I think Prowess is fine. But, like, I don't know. I just can't win with this deck anymore. Right on time. Play Swift Spear to chump block. Actually, what if we block with Bedlam? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can actually kill the Platinum. JK, we're just dead. GG's opponent. Yeah, I mean... Kinda rough beats. I normally beat, like, the mid-range decks, but, like, the biggest problem with this deck right now, I think, is, and it's kind of, like, I understand why everyone, and I kind of agree, I think the Mox Opal ban was good for Modern, but the problem is, like, now people's sideboards get to really narrow out, and it makes it a lot harder to play, like, burn or graveyard decks, and, like, sure, boo-hoo, oh no, you can't play your burn or graveyard decks, is what a lot of people will say, but, like, I think it just, like, really makes... It's good for fair decks, but very bad for, like, aggressive and combo decks. because it really narrows down like what you need in your sideboard, which is probably good for Modern, but bad for the decks I like to play. Yeah, I think this is how I would play Prowess, but it's just like it's hard to play a red deck like this in the format right now, is my opinion. Uh, Maybe I should change my list up, but I'm not sure what cards would have really helped us out there in the matchups. So before I sign off, I want to hop back over to momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com and let you guys know to check them out to buy your singles or find our content. If you're watching on YouTube in the future, check down that description box below for everything that I'm going to talk to you guys about. But also try to tune in live like all these people did and interact with us and have a good time. On top of that, if you're looking to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook to give us a like at Mom's Basement Games. You can follow us on Twitter at Mom's Basement MTG. Or you can hop back over to our YouTube channel after this for the best standard, modern, legacy, vintage, commander, pauper, pioneer, limited, and vintage cube content. On top of that, I would super appreciate it if you gave me a follow on Twitter. My Twitter's at RichardTMTG. I talk Magic, memes, League of Legends, music, Legends of Runeterra. Anything else you want to talk about, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I'm always willing to chat. If you're looking for another form of social media that you can find us on, you can find us on Instagram at Mom's Basement Games, or you can find me on Instagram at RichieT2196. And with that, I think I'm going to get out of here and get ready to hang out. So, everybody have a wonderful night.